Hi, everybody. Thank you for staying so far. My name is Michael Mizrahi. I'm from the Azrieli College of Engineering. I'm the head of the Research, Innovation, and Entrepreneurship Authority at the College of Engineering in Jerusalem. Today, I'm going to tell you the story of A2B Startup Accelerator, and I'm going to tell you the story about the Israeli ecosystem for startups and what you can learn from it. As far as I've been here so far, I was amazed by the things that I've seen here and by the potential of the young generation of software engineers and startup owners. It is very exciting, and I really think that if we can give you maybe 5 cents and learn from you, we can create great things together. So first, I want to thank the organizers, Strike and COS ICT for hosting the delegation from Israel. It's a great honor to be here. Thank you very much. Thank you also the Ambassador of Kosovo in Israel, Her Excellency, Ms. Ines Demiri, for inviting me. And let's start. So I'm going to tell you about how the ecosystem in Jerusalem is very important for you to learn from. I'm coming from Israel. And let's see, working. Okay, let's see. I jinxed it. Working? No. Anyway, let's start. So, I'm coming from the Azrieli College of Engineering. We are located in Jerusalem, in a very strategic place in the city, in the capital city of Jerusalem, where everything is going on in and around the college in terms of R&D, research and development. We have very strategic partners located. Is it working? Oh, good, it's working. Good. Let's see. Okay. So we aim to provide equal opportunity access to higher education. We aim to provide the industry in Jerusalem, the high-tech industry in Jerusalem and in Israel with good engineers. And we are located in a very strategic place in the city. All in and around us, institutes that deals with R&D. We have a big hospital nearby. The Hebrew University is just across the road. We have many colleges around and 2 industrial parks in 4 minutes drive in each lane of this Begin's Boulevard. Within the college, we have A2B Startup Accelerator that I'm going to speak about. It is an accelerator that deals only with engineering. We take only ideas of students, alumni, faculty members, people from Jerusalem and the area that wants to develop a technological idea into a startup company, and we give them tools to do it. But before that, I have to tell you the story about the Startup Nation. And this is a phrase that is actually said by this book of Sol Zinger and Dan Sander. And I'm going to sum up the book in one slide. It's a wonderful book. You can read it. It's actually translated into so many languages, English, of course. And we're the first in the world in R&D spending globally, first in the world in number of startups outside the Silicon Valley, and first in the world in VC investment per capita. It means that from all over the world, people are coming to buy Israeli startups. There are more Israeli companies listed on NASDAQ than India, Japan, and Korea combined. And when we look at this graph, you can see that Israel is the second after the Cayman Islands, and please ignore this. This is for tax reasons. So Israel has more companies listed on NASDAQ than India, Japan, and Korea combined. And when you look at those giants, Korea, 50 million people. Japan, 126, and India is 1.3 billion people. We are only 8 million. And when you look at Kosovo in comparison to Israel, Israel is a very small country, not much of natural resources, kind of isolated, not such a friendly neighborhood all the time, very diverse in population. There are so many things that are similar. We can learn so much from each other. And of course, COVID killed all of this. No, it really didn't. When you see the European billion-dollar companies, this is what happened during COVID. We have seen an increase in companies raising money in Israel more than ever before. It was the best year for Israeli companies. This is the car industry in Israel in the 60s. This car was called the Susita, was made out of fiberglass, and there were based rumors that camels used to eat this car. If you were an officer, you got this car as a driving vehicle, and not a lot of them survived. Nowadays, almost every car, every autonomous system in cars, every autonomous car that is going to build in the future, almost every one of them is based on Mobileye technology. Mobileye is a Jerusalemite startup, and it was actually acquired by Intel recently for $15.3 billion. Now, this change in concept, from having a car being wheels and steering wheels and seats and doors and everything around it, everything now is just everything that we had in mind or in concept as what we described as a car is now just a coverage for a computer that each and every one of us has at home. So we can be a part of the car industry nowadays. We can be a part of the infrastructure industry because of smart housing, smart infrastructure, and so on. We can be a part of the medical industry because of the medical devices has computers nowadays. And when I walked around the startup section, I saw so many companies that is actually giving services to other people, developing new ideas and new technologies. You have the human resources, you have the knowledge, you just have to have a system that actually can create new ideas, and you have the force to develop it. You're doing it for somebody else nowadays. So this is the concept. Mobileye is one of the ideas, but let me tell you a few other ideas. The vehicle location and protection system developed by Tadiran, Ituran, was actually developed for the company itself. They wanted to know where the company's cars are. And they developed the system, then of course patented the first ever drug treating Alzheimer, the system that actually detects the heartbeat of a baby. It's called Baby Sense. Actually preventing death in the cradle was developed in Israel. The first ever solar water heating solution by Chromagen, the very first flash memory disk by Dov Moran, who was actually a good friend, and he developed he funded a VC, a venture capital, investing in startups nowadays, sold to SanDisk, refueling without your wallet. This is a system that actually sends the bill from the gas station directly to your company, and you don't have to even talk to anyone. You just refuel and leave. Also an Israeli company, the very first line of defense against cyber attacks by Gil Shweid and Marius Nacht. We're going to talk about them in a second. And of course, aggregating water solution. Iron Dome, a system developed by Rafael to prevent missile attacks. This I didn't know was Israeli. Did you know that the wet paper towels are, the wipes are an Israeli innovation? So unfortunately, we contributed also to the pollution of the earth by inventing this, but it is an Israeli system. Of course, Mobileye I mentioned before, the very first drone or unmanned aerial vehicle, and the coronary stand, the cherry tomatoes, originally called TV tomatoes. They used to actually sell them, they wanted to sell them to the Americans instead of crisps, but eventually cherry tomatoes was the name that was commercially more attractive. And Waze, if you use it, I don't know if you do, it's a wonderful system to navigate, and many others, and all those ideas Most of them were from Jerusalem, from Tel Aviv and the area, in the center of the country. When you go to Tel Aviv, you have the Rothschilds Boulevard with 5,000 startups scattered around the area. People are sitting in a cafe writing code. Almost none of this happened in Jerusalem, the city that I'm coming from. And this is very important because to duplicate Tel Aviv or Berlin, it will be very difficult. Tel Aviv has thousands of startups. But to duplicate what we did in Jerusalem, to create an ecosystem, and I see, are you from the startup grind? No. So I see many communities in and around from Jerusalem actually created the ecosystem. So we saw that we have every ingredient to create a very successful ecosystem in the city of Jerusalem. We had the government, we had the best university, lots of students, mentors, service providers like accounting and lawyers and everything that you need in order to build a startup. Large companies that buy innovation, like Intel bought Mobileye. Both of them are Jerusalemite. Investment funding, we have the VCs staying in Jerusalem, going to Tel Aviv and buying startups and coming back to Jerusalem. It made no sense. We had JVP, Cornerstone, Our Crowd, Jumpspeed Ventures, VLX Ventures, and many others. And we had community events, so how come we don't have the ecosystem in Jerusalem? We went to the mayor, this guy. The mayor of Jerusalem was a startup owner himself. He built the very first antivirus and sold it before there was even a virus around. And he made millions, then built a VC called BRM, invested in two guys called Marius Nacht and Gil Schwade. They built Checkpoint, and it was one of the most successful cybersecurity companies in the world. And he became very successful and became the mayor. As the mayor of Jerusalem, he didn't want to run the city like a startup. A startup is a very risky business. He wanted to copy models that existed and were successful in other cities. Let's say you walk in San Francisco, you see a street with all of those umbrellas above. Let's copy that into Jerusalem. It's very nice. The same he did with the economy. So he set up clusters for the city of Jerusalem. Together with Michael Porter, Professor Michael Porter from Harvard Business School and Professor Richard Florida, they said Jerusalem is going to be strong on tourism, on life science, but no startup scene. We don't have it around. So we, as a community, said, we do have it. We founded a nonprofit called Made in Jerusalem, 3,000 Years of Innovation, and we decided to do three things: collecting, connecting, and branding. We're going to collect the knowledge about the startup scene in the city. We're going to connect them to one another, and we're going to brand the city of Jerusalem as the best next thing for startups. So we had an active map. At the beginning, we counted only 37 early-stage startups in the city of Jerusalem. Now there are over 750. Now it's not like Tel Aviv with its 6,000 startups, but it really made a change. We managed to get Jerusalem recognized as one of the top 20 cities in 2016 in the Startup Genome Ecosystem Report. Now, this is the report that multinationals are reading before they are opening an office to headhunt startups. This is the report that VCs are reading before they're opening an office in Tel Aviv or in Jerusalem or in Mexico City. The amazing thing was that we were not on the report 2 years before that. If you had a startup in Jerusalem, you had to register yourself as Tel Aviv. Nobody knew that Jerusalem is actually a city where you have startups. So we managed to get in one night every startup in the city of Jerusalem, every hub, every accelerator, registering himself as Jerusalemite. And the guys from Startup Genome, they thought we cheated. They thought we hacked the system. So they sent a team to check it out. And these guys like to drink, and it was a long week. But eventually, we actually registered Jerusalem as number 20 in the world, which is amazing. This is the Time Business magazine back then, marking the 5 emerging tech hubs from around the world and placing Jerusalem first. This is not because anything that I did in A2B, it's because the community worked together. An ecosystem is not one place fighting to be the best. It's few places working together, and this is the important thing. We also printed T-shirts. This is the mayor of New York, Mayor Bloomberg back then, with our T-shirt. This is the prime minister, the CEO of the biggest bank in Jerusalem. This is the president, the former president of Israel. We had to print a yellow shirt for him. He supports the Beitar Jerusalem soccer team. He will not wear red. It's the opposite team. But he tweeted it on Twitter and it was okay. And here we are. This is our piece in the puzzle. A2B Startup Accelerator. We actually established A2B on 2014. We had 8 years running acceleration program for startups. We had 75 companies already raising over $45 million, and we are constantly updating our Excel sheets. And we are giving our teams 5 tools to execute an idea into a startup company. The first one is a co-working space like any other accelerator. Anything you need physically to be a startup, from the coffee machine to the conference room, anything that you need physically, you're gonna get it. Second, oh God, I hope it's okay. Yeah, working. It's 6 months of unique program. We gathered over 100 mentors, people that already sold 1 or 2 companies, had exits, VCs, angel investors, people who are specializing in law and startups, presentation skills, and so on. And we teach them everything they want and everything they need in order to develop their idea into a startup. And by that, they're not only listening to lectures, they're working one-on-one with those people, with those mentors, that is giving them hands-on experience alongside extension of their networking. They get to know all those people. And the third tool is the full academic support. Whatever we have in the college is at their disposal. They can use whatever they want. So we have a small factory in the college to produce ointments, creams, and pills. If you want to develop a new drug delivery system or a new pill, you can do it in our factory. There are wind tunnels, there are labs that you can meet any professor, you can take any academic course, you can borrow any device from the library, and even get interns to do their internship in engineering in small companies that are growing in the accelerator. And the fourth tool is the help of our partners, which is a wall that is constantly growing with logos. Each and every one of our partners has to give a package of help, a gift to one of our startups in every round. Therefore, we have over $1 million worth of cloud computing software given to each and every one of our startups in every round, from IBM, Google, Microsoft, and Amazon. And we have the biggest bank in Israel and 5 of the biggest law firms in Israel. And Indiegogo, the international brand, is going to help you conduct a crowdfunding campaign if you want. Deloitte will help you with accounting and business consulting. And we have Dale Carnegie, the international brand, will teach your sales personnel how to sell. And WeWork is going to give you a month office free. And many other gifts that it's actually an open buffet of tools. You can use whatever you want. And I think the 5th help is love. We love our startups. We have an alumni program with a group in WhatsApp for every round, and you are going to get the best offers specifically to you. If you want to meet the Minister of Innovation in Serbia, or the head of the Hotel Association, or you want to get a special tool or a special software, we are going to build this program for you. We are going to give you whatever we can in our power for you to succeed. In return to those 5 types of help, co-working space, intensive program, the help of our partners, full academic support, and lots of love, we're asking back for nothing. We're taking no equity, no royalties, no money. It's free of charge. It's a gift to the city of Jerusalem. We are sponsored by the government. And we also offer a lot of other services. We see diversity as a key ingredient. We want to see the same population coming to learn engineering in the college also represented at the Accelerator. So this is Aspire. It's a program only for women entrepreneurs in order to increase their application to A2B. We want to see more startups led by women, C-level women in A2B, and we had 3 rounds, and one of them is actually supported by the Embassy of the United States in Jerusalem, and we managed to increase the application to A2B, and we have 50% startups led by women. And this is another pre-acceleration program called 50-50. 50% of the program is done in Jerusalem A2B, 50% in Northeastern University in Boston, meaning the entire group is flying to Boston to do the second half of the program. And this is actually sponsored by the Dutch embassy. 50% of every startup is Palestinians. 50% of every organic startup is Israelis. So you see coexistence within a startup. And this is only for Arab students coming from the Hebrew University and Azrieli College together. Again, we want to see more Arab students apply to A2B. We want to see more Arab-led startups in A2B or in any other accelerator that they wish to apply to. Any of you wants to humor me with a guess how many accelerators exist in Israel? I'll give you in 200. In Frankfurt, there are 4. How many in Israel? 5. 307. 307 accelerators in Israel. Only 1 in every 10 companies going through an acceleration program for pre-seed will really raise the money. 9 will fail to pass this stage. In comparison to this national statistics, A2B, 75% success rate. Most of the startups, 8 out of 10, will raise money if they went through A2B. This is funneling down to us hundreds of applications, and we are accepting 12 companies every round. So this is a prize that we won from the Council of Higher Education, again, sponsored by the government, and we had 7 heads of states coming to visit us, many ambassadors and municipalities from all over the world trying to buy what we called Accelerator in a box. Why make mistakes that we already did for 7 years? Here's a program, here are the mentors, here are the know-how, here is the Startup Nation spirit. We are gonna learn from you, come learn from us. It's a ready-made program. And this is what I have in common with our host here, Peter, that is actually hosting this. We both worked at Accelerator Frankfurt in Germany. Together with Ram Shoham and Maria, we actually built a program that ran for 9 cohorts. Most of the companies in Accelerator Frankfurt managed to borrow money, managed to embed their technology in giants like Allianz, BMW, Deutsche Bahn, and many others. And this is what we do. And you can see those in the front row, those are the mentors of A2B. people who already sold companies, who are teaching our startups, and we're bringing them to Germany. This is what we did in the Czech Republic. We signed a contract with the presence of the president of the Czech Republic while he was in Israel, and we are now building a chain of accelerators called Patrick in the Czech Republic. This is me without the beard over here. In Macedonia, Sivus Incubator. I really like the beard. It actually implies that I can do things that I now no longer can. But this is us, and we did a few things in Macedonia as well. This is in Ohrid Scientific University, and this is in Bitula University, a hackathon that we conducted, and Waira by Telefonica, and many other programs in Africa and many other places. So just to sum up, I'm not gonna go over all the examples of the wonderful things done in A2B because we are lacking time. These are some of the ideas that we are, yes. So, before I go into questions, I want to invite you. If you are interested in building a startup and interested in learning from the Israeli side, wanting to apply to A2B, if you have an idea and you want to speak with me, if you want a little bit of know-how on how to run an acceleration program, on how to address the issue of training the team, train the trainer. These are my details. Please contact me directly, and thank you very much for staying so long and listening to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, hands together for Michael Mizrahi. Thank you so much. Wonderful. I think the best thing is, again, you're curious, you'd like to know more, maybe collaboration on the horizon, or maybe just a chat, just to see maybe where there's something that could fit in the future. I'm sure very shortly as we go into to celebrate our first day, or would you like a question? There is one question. Stay there. Hold on a second.
Okay, thank you for this beautiful presentation. I have one question, but it's a big one. How did you succeed to convince your government to give money for this?
Okay, so I was actually not alone. There was a lot. The community was very big, and what I understand about governments and about municipalities, they really want to be successful and they really want to help, but they don't know how to do it. So what we did is we did small events, and we called the mayor to cut the ribbon, and then we asked, if you give us $1 million, or if you build a roundabout outside the college with $1 million, nobody's gonna come with a TV to take a photo of the roundabout. But everybody's gonna come to see how successful the city became, producing 12 startups a year that stays in the city of Jerusalem, and employ people and give salaries and boosting up the economy. $1 million is not a lot of money. Give it to us, and we're gonna be a part of this and be a part of this success. And the thing with politicians, as I mentioned, if they see success, they want to join the success. Otherwise, you have to be successful. You have to choose the right companies in the very beginning. You have to hook up with a big brand in order to succeed. In the beginning, I bugged a lot of people, and I managed to get Microsoft on board. Then I went to IBM and I said, would you like to have your logo near to Microsoft? And so on and so forth. You have to really bug people, but when you have like a success story, you can come to the municipality and you say, you have all those international big brands supporting our programs. Would you like to support our program? And it was a funny story that they actually published a program where they are going to support the building of and running of acceleration programs in Jerusalem. And I didn't even apply to even half of what they asked for. So I found out who can, and I signed a contract with them. So when I applied to the municipality, I had all the regulations that I needed. But you need a leader to actually pick and place all the needed aspects of getting money from the government, and it's usually quite easy. Now it's much easier than it used to be 8 years ago. Everybody recognized the benefit of having such programs everywhere. Thank you very much.
So